The city of Tokyo pulses with neon light until a sudden sharp crack echoes through the central substation. A bright blue arc of electricity dances across the transformers, followed by a deafening silence. Within seconds, the skyline of New York vanishes into the ink-black night. Deep beneath the Atlantic, the pulses of data that carry the world's secrets stutter and die. This is not a planned maintenance. This is the moment the pulse of civilization stops beating. Modern humanity exists within a shimmering web of electromagnetic waves and copper wires. Every aspect of contemporary life, from the preservation of food to the validation of digital identity, relies on a steady flow of electrons. However, this vast and complex network possesses a fatal vulnerability. The global power grid is a finely tuned instrument, balanced on the edge of frequency and voltage. When an external force disrupts this balance, the results are catastrophic. We are now entering an era where the primary threat is not a lack of energy, but the physical destruction of the delivery system itself. A specific phenomenon, often overlooked in urban planning, involves the dispersal of conductive particulate matter. When conductive ash settles upon the high-voltage insulators that guard our power lines, it creates a bridge where none should exist. The disaster begins silently. A massive atmospheric event or a series of localized industrial accidents releases a dense shroud of fine, carbon-rich ash into the troposphere. Unlike common dust, this ash carries a high degree of electrical conductivity. As it drifts downward, it settles on the ceramic and glass insulators of the long-distance transmission towers. Under normal conditions, these insulators prevent electricity from jumping from the wires to the steel towers. But as the ash layer thickens, the air itself begins to hiss. In a rural substation in the Midwest, the first short circuit occurs. A massive surge of current bypasses the safety protocols, melting the copper internal components of a transformer in milliseconds. This is a localized failure, but the grid is interconnected. Like a row of falling dominoes, the sudden loss of one node puts immense pressure on the next. Engineers in control rooms watch in horror as their monitors flicker and die. They attempt to isolate the damage, but the ash is everywhere. It is in the air filters of the backup generators and coating the switches of the emergency systems. As the primary grid fails, the secondary effects ripple through the global infrastructure. The internet, often visualized as a cloud, is in reality a series of massive, power-hungry data centers located in physical buildings. Without a stable supply of electricity, and with backup diesel generators failing due to ash-clogged intakes, the servers begin to shut down. The digital history of the 21st century becomes inaccessible. Banking systems freeze, leaving billions of people without the ability to purchase food or fuel. Communication becomes the next victim. Cellular towers, which rely on the same fragile grid, go silent within hours. The world shrinks. A person standing on a balcony in London has no way of knowing if Paris still exists. The silence is profound. In the cities, the absence of the constant hum of machinery creates an eerie, heavy atmosphere. Water pumps stop, and the high-rise buildings that define the modern landscape become uninhabitable concrete shells. Transportation grinds to a halt. Electric trains are stranded between stations, and air traffic control centers lose the ability to track the thousands of aircraft still in the sky. Humanity finds itself in a forced regression. Without the ability to manufacture new parts or even communicate across distances, the repair of the grid becomes an impossible task. The conductive ash continues to linger in the environment, making any attempt to re-energize the lines a suicide mission for the equipment. Society begins to reorganize around the most basic needs: heat, water, and manual labor. The transition is brutal. Knowledge that was once a click away must now be recalled from memory or found in physical books, which many have long discarded. The skills of the blacksmith and the farmer become more valuable than those of the software engineer or the stockbroker. The global economy, built on the speed of light and the reliability of the electron, evaporates. In its place is a localized bartering system. The night sky, now free from the glow of light pollution, reveals a universe of stars that most people had forgotten existed. It is a beautiful sight that signals the end of the technological era. The collapse of the global power grid is a reminder of the fragility of our achievements. We have built a world of wonders on a foundation of thin wires and delicate balances. The conductive ash scenario proved that it does not take a nuclear war or a comet to end civilization. It only takes a failure of the systems we take for granted every day. As the last remnants of the old world's batteries fade away, humanity must look toward a new way of living. We are no longer the masters of the lightning. We are once again children of the earth, sitting in the darkness, waiting for a new dawn that may not involve a light switch. The age of electricity was a brilliant, brief flicker in the long history of the planet. And as the darkness settles in, we must learn to walk in the shadows once more.